Hello, beautiful Taurus family. Your journeys and the energies are so much fun to sit with because, wow, you all have such a unique build up to this December 2020. And I don't know, I've just been working with you all for several years, and I have worked with different Tauruses, have different creative projects, different paths that have been blooming and blossoming and just wanting to be born. And it has been a process of many years, several years for some of you to just let it blossom and let it flow. And when I sat down to look at Taurus energy, I mean, the first thing that came up is like bravery and courage are huge. We've talked about that before. This is not a new theme for Tauruses, actually. Like, there's been a huge emphasis on your courage and your integrity and your ability to like make huge shifts and be okay with it, and to be moving almost with Uranus in your sign, Taurus. It's almost like moving like you're more of a mutable sign. Mutable energy like Gemini and Sagittarius and Virgo, Pisces are always, in machinations, getting things moving. And, I'm a fixed sign with you. Often we want to nourish things into being in a very soft way. But regardless, there's a couple big things I want to talk about. Of course, it's eclipse season this month. So November 30th, we have the full moon in Gemini. It's a lunar eclipse. Then December 14th, we have the new moon in Sagittarius, solar eclipse. And so it's eclipse season, which already means that we are having energetic shift points here, right? And for you, this is going to be in really transformational energy of your second and eighth house, how you connect with resources, money, well-being, all of that, sense of safety in transformation as well as stability. But there's a couple other things that specifically for Taurus really stuck out to me. One is that Chiron is going direct. Let me get the date for that, the 15th. So right around the new moon eclipse in Sagittarius, which is in your 8th house, Chiron goes direct in Aries, which is in your 12th house. Now, this is big because Chiron has been working really hard with your spiritual healing. Now, this is going to happen again next year, so we're far from done with Chiron in our Aries. However, there's a significance here for me in the fact that this is a go-ahead for you. And whatever you've been healing for the last 6 months, this Chiron direct is going to be more of that nudge to let yourself move forward now. Whatever internal seeking you've been needing to do, you can now move forward. Same thing with the new moon and eclipse. So those couple of days are going to be really powerful for you as far as just kind of coming to communion with those shifts inside of yourself, deeper understanding. Now, the other thing, and this is the big thing that we're all going to be going through here, is this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction and move into Aquarius, which I will be covering in detail and with some resources over on Patreon. So if you want a little extra support in working with this very new energy that is quite potent, I will be so happy to see you over there. But let's talk about how it's going to affect you right now. This is going to be in a fellow fixed sign, right? And I'm a Leo with a lot of Leo energy and a Taurus North Node, so I'm going to be writing this with you. All the fixed signs are going to be feeling Jupiter and Saturn moving into fellow fixed sign of Aquarius. Now for Taurus, this is about who you are in the world. And I'm going to probably get so many full body shivers talking through this with you all today, because here's the thing. Saturn gets a bad rap, right? Because everybody's like, oh, he's the planet of restriction and he's always ruining the party. Here's the thing with Saturn. Wherever he is, he's helping you build something of value with a really strong foundation. He's not coming in here with like wind chimes and pine needles and saying, oh, let me build you a house of dreams. Saturn comes in and is like, how can I get this done? And I love that. Jupiter is also giving you a lot of prosperity when it comes to who you are in the world, how you take up space, how you create, how you share of your gifts, how visible you are. And for me, this signals 2021 is a year of building and creating. And we are just going to be starting that. The 17th, 18th is when that big shift is happening into Aquarius. And then, of course, we have the solstice on the 21st. So that middle week from the 14th to the 21st is just going to be very busy energetically. If you can, kind of keep that in mind for yourself. Give yourself some grace that week, 14th to 21st. Just whatever, if you need a little extra rest or you need to do more or do less, whatever. This is just going to be a time where you are communing with this building phase. Now, here's the other thing there's a couple things that came up with me, and actually I should start shuffling, shouldn't I? I'm trying to stay focused with all the things going on in these readings. Whew. First thing that came up for me when I thought through this. The things that are coming up, the themes that are coming up, the shifts that are coming up, this is not new information for you all. This is not like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I loved this or that I cared about this or that I wanted this. I had no idea. This is stuff you've known about for a long time. This is the culmination. This is the shift point of something that's been building and growing for a long time. Gently blossoming. 2 cards wanted to come out. The Hermit and the 2 of Pentacles. Yes. Yes. So that was first one. This month is not going to be about sudden revelations. It's going to be about just opening yourself up to something that's already been building. The other thing, this whole concept of bravery and courage that came up again when I thought through Taurus energy. The word brave and the word courage especially, this has to do with the heart, right? And so often we're told to be courageous by courage has been so wrapped up in concepts of pushing through, making things happen. 5 of Swords. Self-trust. Self-trust is coming up in these cards, big time, Taurus. Gotta trust yourself. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta let yourself be friends with yourself. 2 of Wands. Oh, yeah. Okay. So often courage and bravery has been associated with pushing through no matter what, even if it's something that feels terrible and icky. And not icky in the way like a hard workout or the creative process of writing or making that can sometimes bring up difficult emotions. It's the kind of thing where it's oh, I broke my foot, but I'm going to keep jumping on it, right? It's that's often been associated with bravery and courage. And you should know, you probably already know by now that I'm not advocating that whatsoever. For me, courage is the courage to trust yourself, right? The courage to know, oh, I am desiring this shift in how I'm doing my work and how I'm showing up. And I'm allowed to desire that, right? I'm allowed to yearn for that. Courage in, making those adjustments, even if they seem really scary, or you're worried people will judge you or not understand, right? Those are things that require courage and steadfastness to ourselves and having healthy boundaries. That's one that requires so much courage. I think of all the things when I think about setting healthy boundaries and being okay saying, what you need, that is courage in and of itself. So that's what I really mean. Now let's talk about this. Okay, the Hermit, one of my favorite cards. No, this does not mean you're supposed to sit inside and never see anybody ever again and just go into your cave, though maybe some of you will, and sounds pretty good to me right now. But the Hermit is about our deep inner wisdom, right? This is our deep knowing. Whether you're thinking about Virgo energy of the whole complete goddess, or you're thinking about the inner sage. What does the inner sage normally tell us? This is the inner wise person who's lived a lot. That inner wise person's going to tell you all those things you're worried about, how that's going to look and none of that's going to matter, right? Nobody really cares. Nobody's really thinking about you that much that those things are going to be the thing. What is integrity to you? This shines a lantern on your path and your deep wisdom. And here's the thing. I think, yes, there are big shifts energetically going on all around us in December. And you can get all distracted by the shiny lights of Aquarian energy coming in and eclipses and all of that because it's powerful. But when I see the Hermit there, what it shows me is there is a really deep, simple wisdom that you can return to again and again this month. It's never going to give you complicated instructions. It's never going to ask you to jump on one foot and jump through a hoop. Talking to you, Two of Pentacles. It's never going to be asking you to justify a whole bunch of things and come up with a whole bunch of complex storylines so that you can believe that this person's being nice or you're allowed to do this, whatever. The deep wisdom of Hermit energy, of the inner sage, the inner crone, the inner wise person, the inner Gandalf is going to be very simple. And you can always rely on this energy. And it is quiet. And it is behind the scenes. And it's not about the glamour. And it's not about how things look on the surface. It's about what is deeply, anciently true in your path, right? And here's the thing. Self-trust came up for me when I saw these cards. And here's where the courage thing probably came up too. It's like Two of Pentacles and Five of Swords for me. It does relate to all the powerful, impactful, kind of noisy energy of December with everything, because everybody's going to be going through eclipse season. Everybody's going to be going through the shift. Everybody's going to be connecting with the solstice and that check-in point and the end of the year. Right? So we're all going to be having our things. It's going to be kind of noisy. Two of Pentacles and Five of Swords really reminds me of when you feel like, oh, there's all this going on. I need to be this for this person over here. I need to be this for this person over here. Maybe I should dim down this other dream I have. Maybe it's too much. Maybe I'm making stuff up. I'm just going to hop around and look around and just cause this mental acrobatics to go down internally, right? Just taking a breath now, because even I'm getting busy and worked up and talking fast and loud. And this anxious voice may come up that feels that you need to wear all the hats, that feels that you need to armor up and keep an eye out and look over your shoulder, that feels that maybe you're getting away with something if you aren't playing all these roles. This is just noise. When we're growing, right? Which December is a month of growth, change, expansion. That is often when the voice that maybe has handled growth in the past a different way, via, maybe shutting down or maybe trying to people please or whatever, or shut down your inner wisdom and just do what's expected, right? Wants to come up and save your butt and say, okay, well, there's all this growth and newness, maybe we need to bring it back in. That is often when we know we're probably going towards something that is big, right? Is when that voice comes up and wants to tell us we're going to fall down and be cast out. Here's the thing though. The Hermit never lies. The Hermit is always honest. And the Two of Wands is also part of this crisp wisdom, right? This card is very deeply associated, yes, with travel, with expansion, with new opportunities, with new horizons. It's an opening of a doorway, right? It's an opening of a path. So powerful. It's also to do with our faith in ourselves, right? Because the image is of a merchant who has sent his goods out into the world and now stands at this quiet shore, having to just know and believe in this bigger process, right? And really, that's not about worrying about all the machinations of the world and all the busyness. It's about knowing you're always going to be safe with yourself, right? And therefore, what needs to happen will happen because you're always going to treat yourself with respect. You're always going to make choices that show that respect to yourself and therefore to others as well, right? Respect is a powerful, quiet force that is always going to choose a nourishing path. And that self-trust is so much stronger than any of these other voices. And I think, these cards come out just as a nod to how much is happening in life, how much you're growing, and how much and how much this is a part of the process, and it's fine, you know? It's like, it's not negative for you to have this self-protective, sometimes people-pleasing, sometimes role-playing, sometimes wanting to keep busy energy in your process. That is totally fine to have. And I think it's natural, and it's gonna happen every time we grow and we're learning something new. But you have support. You have support. You have a deep, quiet, calm wisdom that speaks to what it is that's really been blossoming out of you for a very long time. And once again, it's like, this is not new stuff. This isn't some random thing where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, these are things that you've been contending with for a long time. I have a few affirmations for you for December, for the end of 2020, this powerful year. And let me just say, 2021 is also going to be powerful, just in a different way. In a very visionary way that also requires us, though, to keep being curious about what's possible next. That's what I will say about that. But here are your affirmations, my loves. I always have what I need. I can trust myself to always choose situations and paths filled with kindness and support. I am allowed to make adjustments. I can shine bright. With the energy moving the way it is for you, Taurus, there is an invitation for you to shine your brightest. Shining your brightest isn't going to look the same for everybody. It's not just about like being on TV or something like that. So often, you know, we're told that shining bright is something about like having a lot of people obsessed with us, and shining bright is something that comes from that deep internal place in the way you connect with your community and your own creative process and the way you connect with your loved ones. And that's different for everyone. But even still, to let yourself shine fully bright takes courage and bravery like nothing in this world. And I am seeing that. For you all. And I'm really excited to see where it takes you. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more support available if you are looking for that over on Patreon. We're always connecting and meeting over there and sharing. So I would love to see you. I'll leave the link below, and you can also find me on Instagram and on my website. I'll leave all of those goodies in the description box. You can also find PinkLune, one of my favorite Tauruses, her Etsy shop below. I'm wearing her beautiful tourmaline today. So you can find her there. I am sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful and sacred and self-loving December, that your brightness and kindness to yourself illuminates and is shared with the rest of the world, to create a world where more and more kindness is available and around us. I love you so much, and I'll see you in January 2021.